Hey everyone, this is Troy. And first of all, let me say thank you for attending the webinar today. You've taken the first step to really learning the software and learning all the amazing things you can do with Stack. And I think by the end of this, you will be absolutely thrilled with what you can do. A little bit about myself. I've been with Stack for a little over 4 years now. I've been fortunate to see tremendous growth within the company and just an uncountable number of success stories with the customers over that time. Over the 4.5 years, I've conducted thousands of trainings, whether it's one-on-one trainings or in a group settings. I am extremely passionate about training. This is really where we're going to teach you to make amazing positive changes for your company and your lives. Today we've got a full agenda, so we're going to cover basic what the bid calendar is, how to get started by uploading your new projects. Once that project is uploaded, how we can do a little bit of plan management. We'll go into conducting takeoffs to do our measurements, how we can add markups to the plans, and then also covering reports. So a full agenda, but I think it'd be well worth your while. Let's hop right in. So when you first log into Stack, you're going to come to our bid calendar. Think of this as our home screen. This is where you're going to access existing projects. This is where you're going to upload new projects. A quick overview here. All your projects will appear on the bid calendar here. You can scroll back and forth throughout the months, just like so. If you prefer to see a list view of your plans or your projects, you can click on Agenda and you'll see a list view with the most recent project first. Also, if you log in on a mobile device, say you're logging in on your phone or a tablet, it will default to this agenda view where you can just click on the project and go right in. We also have search criteria, so you can just toggle back and forth throughout time and look for your project, but you can also search for it above. So if we click on search, I can type in the name of my project or the first 3 or 4 letters of the project and hit search, and it's going to give me a list of those projects right there. You can also search by different criteria. So say that you're part of a multi-user company, you can search for the projects that are assigned to that specific person, and you can also search by statuses. So I know we'll cover statuses here in a minute, but if I wanted to know all the projects I've won, I can put a little check mark and hit search and see all the projects I've won. Or if I wanted to see all the projects that were, that I'm currently bidding, I can search by that criteria. So while statuses are an optional field, there's a lot to benefit from them, and I really encourage that you use those. To access your existing projects, we're just going to click on it. It'll take us into the project. If we need to modify the status, or if we need to change the bid date on a project, we're going to do so by clicking this little edit pencil. So I'll click edit. I can go over here and I can change the date. I can change the status. I can update the address if I wanted to and click on update. Or if I just wanted to delete the project out entirely, again, really we give you unlimited storage, so there's no reason to do so. But if you did want to delete the project and start over, again, this edit pencil will take you to the screen and you can hit delete and cancel that out. For us today, we're going to be uploading a new project. To do so, we really have 2 required fields. So it's these top 2 where we're going to enter in the project name, and we're going to specify the bid date. So I can click on this little calendar icon and select my bid date. It is going to always default to today's date. So if it is today, that's fine. Or you can scroll through, back and forth time and assign that project to a bid date. We do have some optional information down below. So if you wanted to specify a bid time, you certainly could. If you wanted to assign it to a specific user, you could do so here. You can also set your status. So this is where I could say, I'm going to bid this job and then come back at a later point and update that status. You can also put the physical address of the site if that would help you. Again, these 2 are the ones that we really need. After that, we're going to go to create and launch. So create and launch is going to walk us through the upload process. If I just hit create, that's just going to put the name of the project on the bid calendar as a placeholder just to remind you to upload those plans at a later point. Most times it's going to be straight into create and launch, and this will start to walk us through the upload process. So our setting here is to choose a local file. So no matter how you receive your plans, whether it's an email attachment or a Dropbox link or a plan room. However you receive those files, you're going to download them to your computer, and then at this point you're going to choose that local file from the computer. So we click on this, it's going to open up a file explorer, and then I can go onto my computer and grab that particular project, hit open. It is a two-step process. The first step is it's going to upload into our software. So we'll see the little progress bar there, also represented by the little pie chart. And then the second step is to hit done. At this point, the software is going to take that individual PDF or multiple PDFs if you had selected and process those through and create thumbnail images of each of those plans. This process can take a couple minutes depending on your internet connection, the strength of your internet connection, also the size of the file. So we'll go back and hop into something that already has, there we go, starting to process through, already has some plans in it. All right, so once the plans are uploaded, we have some couple options we can do as far as plan management. So we give you the different thumbnail views so you can kind of quickly see which ones that you're going to want to do a takeoff on. So, you know, if you've got 100 plans or 200 plans, you can kind of scroll through and see, okay, this is a site view, here's an aerial image. Instead of, you know, clicking through all 200 plan pages, this is just to help you find more quickly the ones that you're going to want to take measurements on. We can click on view. That's going to take us into full screen mode. Once we're here, I can hold down with the mouse button. I can pull the plan around. I can scroll in and out very quickly with my mouse, the scroll wheel. If you do not have a mouse with a scroll wheel, I do highly suggest that you get one. Even a $15 mouse at Walmart will make your life so much easier. But we do have some incremental zoom in and outs over here if you are working on a trackpad. This plans tab is always there, so we can always go back to our thumbnail images just like that. Again, we can open up another one just like so. We can also open multiples at the same time. So as you're scrolling through and you're like, well, I want to see that one, and I want to see that one, and I want to see that one, put little check marks in, click this little open button, and it's going to open those all up here as tabs above. Okay. Once they're in tabs, it works just like a web browser, and we can go in and close those tabs down. Okay, open them up just like so. Other things that we can do on the thumbnail screen. So say that you have a plan that needs a rotation. So say that this one was scanned in sideways. We can put a check mark in here, and then we can go over here and rotate that either to the left or the right. The caveat there with rotating, you cannot rotate plans after you've already started a takeoff or put markups on the plan. So if your plans do need a rotation, you want to handle that first. You can also delete plans at this stage if you wish to. So if there are plans that you know you're not going to want to need and you just want to kind of clear up the canvas, you can put a check mark in the ones you don't need and hit this little trash can icon. That is a permanent delete. Again, we give you unlimited storage, so there are no plan limits. So you are welcome to leave all the plans. If you do want to clean this up for your own personal needs, put a check mark in and hit the trash can, and off they will go. All right. Other things that we can do. Let's talk about auto naming. So the plans here have a pretty good naming scheme, and that's all going to depend on how that file was originally scanned in. And I know that you don't have any control over that, so you kind of receive the plans however you do. They will either be named really well or they won't. A lot of times I will see the plans named the same thing throughout, which is a little frustrating. So we do have an auto naming feature that will help with that. You can zoom in on a plan, and it doesn't matter which plan you zoom into. The auto naming we're going to set it once, and it's going to auto name every plan on the set. So we're going to scroll down to the page number, make it nice and big here on the screen. Right now we're on takeoff. We're just going to hop one over to the left to plans, and then up here in this little gray bar we have a little settings gear. We're going to click on that and choose auto name. We give you some text instruction up here on the left hand corner, but it's really saying just to zoom in to this part of the plan so you can see the page number really big, I'm going to click Draw. I'm just going to draw a rectangle around this. Now, you want to make it kind of big just in case there is an AA251.2, you know, a longer one, so you want a big enough area, but you also don't want to touch any of the outside borders. So I'll do one click of the mouse up here. I'll let go. I'm just going to drag my mouse across and double click there. At this point, I can hit start, and the system's going to run through and auto name those files for me. You don't need to wait on it. It's going to do that in the background. And it will change the names here on the thumbnail images just to make them, you know, a little guidance so you can see which ones are the electricals or which ones are the mechanicals or which ones are the floor plans and such. So auto name, pretty cool. Once we're in here, we're going to find the plans that we want to do measurements on. So today we're focusing on interior finishes. Let's hop into a plan. The first thing that we want to do is set our scale. So you can see that the scale is already set because I've used this plan before, but when you come into a new project, it's just going to say scale, and we give you two ways to set that scale. If you have a known distance on the plan, like here's a nice 18-foot 2-inch section, I highly recommend that you calibrate the scale. To do so, we're going to click on the little green scale box. That is going to open up, and you'll notice that we come to this calibrate scale side because that is the very best way to set the scale. And we've got a foot and inches mark here. Again, you can move the plan page around if you need to get to that known distance. We're just going to enter it in feet and inches. So we've got 18 feet, 2 inches. 18 feet, 2 inches. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm just going to go from point to point. So I'm going to do one click with the mouse here, drag that across, click once there, and it's going to come in at the scale. So in this place, you know, it confirms that we are at a 1/4 inch scale, which is great. Trust me, that's not always the case, so that's why we put the default setting to calibrate. Now, if there is not a known dimension, you're just going to have to go with what is listed. So the architect here said this is in a 1/4 inch. We would click on the scale box. Instead of going to the calibrate side, we're going to go over to standard scales, and we're going to choose that scale from a drop-down list. So architecture is up above, civil is down below, and then we could just choose that 1/4 inch scale. If you do that and you have an idea, at least on a measurement, I do recommend that you kind of verify that scale, and we'll be going through the markup tools. I know I'm jumping ahead just a little bit here, but over here on the right hand side under our markup tools, we do have a dimension line. And for instance, if there's a doorway, we can click and just see, okay, that door should be around 3 feet. Our scale should be looking pretty good there at a 1/4 inch. So dimension line is a great way to kind of verify a scale. Also, if you're working in the metric world, you can click over here on settings and change your scale over here to a metric, just like so. Okay? Our scale is set, so now we can jump in and do our measurements. So the basic premise behind the program is we're going to create a new takeoff for all of our different measurements that we're going to take. So say that we want to know the square footage of this room so that we can calculate how many sheets of drywall that we're going to need. I'm going to go to new takeoff. My takeoff name is always what I'm going to measure, so I can put drywall. You can be as specific as you want. The more specific, the better. It's going to look better in the report section, especially if you bid this and you're awarded it, you know, 3 or 4 months later when you come back to the project, you can say, okay, I was working with 3 5/8 inch drywall. So, you know, the more descriptive, the better. 3 5/8 inch drywall. Our measurement type here, and we'll run through these throughout, but in this case it's going to be a surface area. So we're looking for the wall surface area to find that square footage we need for the drywall. Choose surface area. I can put a descriptor here if I want to. It looks really good in the report section. That is optional. Another optional set is to change the fill color. So as I draw this, when I'm done, it's going to shade it in a certain color to know that we've taken off that area. Now the system is going to automatically choose a fill color for you. In this case, it chooses that pink color. In most cases, that is fine. If you want to override that fill color, you can click right on top of that color swatch and change that color. Okay. Again, think of these two are the ones that we really need. At this point, we can click Start Takeoff. We are dealing, let me delete that, my apologies. we're dealing with a surface height, so the system's going to prompt us for the height of this wall. So we can say that this is a 9-foot 6-inch wall, and then we go directly over into drawing mode. Our drawing tools look like this. We're going to do one click to start, drag my mouse across, one click for every turn, and then double click to finish it out. And when I double click, it's going to shade that line color in. So just to show you really quickly what we've done, I can go up here to end. It's going to show us our primary measurement type right here in the takeoff template. So in this case, we were looking for the square footage of the wall. So we know that there's 538 square feet based on that 9-foot 6-inch wall height. Now, if we needed to activate that again, okay, and we wanted to take off this area of the wall, all I'm going to do is just click on this little green arrow. That's going to take me into drawing mode, and I can start again. A couple hints while you're drawing. So once I click this to start, you can see that we're in like free draw mode. So you can force the system to draw straight lines, and to do so, I'm just going to press on the Shift key. Just going to press and release, and now the system's going to force me to draw straight lines. So it's going to be, 180, 45-degree angles. I can just zoom across here, click, and then I know that I can draw this a little quicker because I'm not worrying about drawing so straight. If I want to undo that, I'm just going to press Shift key again, and now I'm toggle back into free form. Also, if you're dealing with rectangular structures, like we are here, we can move over and grab our rectangle tool. So right now, the drawing tool we're doing is a linear, which is a free form for odd shaped rooms. If we're dealing with a rectangular or a square structure, I can drop one down here to rectangle. It's just going to make things a little bit quicker for you. So I can click here once. I'm going to click once in this corner, drag my mouse directly across, and double click here. And it's going to shade that in. Okay, again, the rectangle tool just makes things a little quicker. You are welcome to use the polygon and accomplish the same here. To show you what we've done, we can go up to end. Now this is going to calculate our total. So our project total, we've done these 3 rooms, and we're up to 1607 square feet. Let's hop into reports just really quickly, and we'll cover reports again, but to show you what we've done, we can go into reports. That's showing us our primary measurement type. We can go to the secondary report here, the Takeoff Summary, and that's going to show us our primary and our secondary measurements. So in this case, our total square footage, 1606.62. Here is the linear footages. So this is the perimeter of each of the rooms that I've drawn, and each just means that I've done 3 drawings so far. If we want to take this a level further, I can drop one down to this geometry by takeoff report, and this is going to show the 3 individual measurements which roll up to total this. So we can see our individual room square footage and the perimeter. And then also, if you remember the 3rd room that we did, we used the rectangle tool. Whenever you use the rectangle tool, the system's going to pull a little extra information for you. So in this case, it's going to pull the height and the width of that room, also give me the square footage and the perimeter in linear footage, which is awesome. So if you're doing doors and windows, this is an awesome tool for you. Let's pop back into Takeoff and do some more examples here. So we did this for drywall. Let's say that we're going to do this for paint. It's going to be very similar. So the workflow is we're going to create a new takeoff. Say that we're working on P1. Again, we're going to use a surface area because we're going to go for the wall surface area. Descriptor if I wanted to, or hop right in here to start takeoff. I can say in this case I'm working with 11-foot walls and jump straight over here into drawing mode. Again, start with the polygon or drop down to rectangle, your choice. One click of the mouse, a click for every turn, and double click to finish, just like so. It's going to shade it in a different color just so that it's a visual cue for us that we're measuring 2 different materials on the plan. We can go down here to end, say that we want to do some trim work here on this little guy right here. Again, we're going to create a new takeoff. We can say this is trim, being kind of generic on that with poor spelling even. My measurement type is just a linear measurement on here. a descriptor if you want, or straight into start takeoff. Again, our takeoff tools are going to work the same. So our trim, one click here, one click for every turn. Now if you accidentally click here and you didn't mean to put a point there, you can hit backspace on your keyboard and it'll remove the last point, or you could really backspace your way all the way back to the beginning. Okay, so if you make an accidental point, no worries, click there, oops, just remove that last point with the backspace key and keep working your way around. Again, that's going to shade that in a different color because we're doing a different measurement there. Say that we're going to run some electrical wire. Hop in here in new takeoff. Say that we're going to do our 20 gauge wire. And I spelled gauge wrong. Again, that's going to be a linear. Start takeoff, and then we're just going to run where we want that that wire to go. So say that we're going to start here, in the bathroom and work our way around the plan. Again, one click to start, one click for every turn, and we can get our cordage run just like so to this junction box right there. Okay. To take it a step further, so say that we're running our wire around here, but we also want the wire to drop down, say 6 feet to an electrical outlet, and we want to be able to capture that extra cordage for that drop. We're going to do that a little bit differently. Let me show you. Move on to the next plan here. So this will go up here to end. Again, we're going to create a new measurement. This one will say that we're going to do a wire with a drop. So new takeoff, wire with a drop. For our measurement type here, a linear with drop, okay? Select our measurement type, click Start Takeoff to jump right into the software. Boom. This one's going to be a little different. You're going to notice over on the left-hand side, it's going to prompt us for the drop length that we're looking for. Over here, we can say, again, this is in feet and inches. We want a drop to come down 6 feet. We're going to go over here. I'll zoom in further so you can see this a little bit better. Ooh, that's super big. But say that we're going to start our wire here. And you can see that it's going to put a drop there. So that little cross signifies the drop for that 6 foot length. If you don't want one where you're going to start, just hit the backspace key and that's going to remove that. We can pull this up. If you're drawing while you're in the plan and you want to move around, just hold down with the mouse, pull that sheet around, and then let go. Okay, so you can pull the sheet around. Again, I made a corner. If I don't want to drop there, hit backspace, work my way around. I don't want one there. Pull the sheet around. I do want a drop there. And now I can zoom back out and say, you know what? Make that turn, and I want a drop there right behind the sink and finish out my line there. So in this case, I did 2 drops in this run. So the system's going to take that linear run and then account for an additional 6 feet for both of those drops. Again, end. We can also do this as specific counts if we wanted to. So if we wanted to just do a raw count of outlets, again, a new takeoff because we're going to measure something different. We can say that we're looking at duplex outlets. And this time our measurement type is going to be just a straight count. Again, descriptor if you want to. You do have a couple other options here, as you can not only select the color of the count symbol, but you can also select the count symbol. So again, we have our color here, but now you see count symbol. So defaults to a medium check mark. If we want this to be, a medium cross, we can certainly choose that. Change the color if we wish. Hop right in here to start takeoff. And now we're just going to count everywhere that we want to place that outlet. Okay, boom, click done. And now we've counted our outlets right there. And it's going to, again, show us our primary measurement type. And it's going to show us that, boom, we've got 5 of those right there. Okay, let's look at some plumbing here real quick. So say that we're going to run some plumbing through this. Again, to start a new takeoff. I think you guys are probably starting to catch on by now that we're going to create a new takeoff for each different type of measurement. So say that we're dealing with, 1 1/2 inch PVC. Again, that would be a linear measurement. and we can just hit start takeoff. So again, one click to get started, one click for every turn, and double click. So here we're running our plumbing through the bathroom here, and then say that it's going to run around to the sink. I know I'm being kind of simple with the drawings just for illustration purposes. The same is going to work for ductwork. So say that we're going to do a new takeoff, and we're dealing with like a 10 by 20, rectangular duct. Again, we're dealing with a linear measurement here, start takeoff, and then just work around wherever that duct is going to do, one click to start, and work our way around. Okay, double click, that's going to shade that in. Awesome, so that should give you a really good indicator for your different measurement types and what you're going to use for interior finishes here. Let's talk about markups. So I can end that takeoff. And actually, let's just kind of start at the top and work our way down here. So while you're drawing, so I'm in drawing mode here, this left-hand panel can take up a pretty good size of your screen. So we can toggle that left just to get us in the full screen mode for drawing. To do so, I'm just going to click on this little toggle. It's going to temporarily hide that left panel. Now I've got the full screen to draw on, and I can toggle that back over. If I wanted to add additional plans to the project, this little upload, it's going to just bring that upload back up, and I can add plans. Bookmarks we'll cover in the advanced series. Again, here's our incremental zoom in and outs, our drawing tools, whether it's linear or the rectangle, and now edit. So say that we need to edit a line or we want to delete a line. We've got two different edit tools, so we can click on edit. This would be for a singular edit, where we can just go click on that line and it's going to highlight it. Once it's in highlight mode like that, we could go over here, we could change the height of the wall if we wanted to. We can grab any of these points. If we need to snug up a corner, we can. We'll also see how this little box kind of follows me around. I can grab on this and add an additional point if I needed to. Also, I could rotate the whole thing if I wanted to. Or if I just wanted to delete this and start over, I could either, while it's highlighted here, I could either press the delete key on your keyboard or go back up here to this little trash can icon. So lots of different edit functions that we can do. And now we are to our markups. So we've got lots of really cool markups here. I can go over here directly across. Think of this as our good old-fashioned yellow highlighter. Click on that, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle. So go around here and highlight that. Again, just to draw your attention to it. You can do different color highlights. So say that you want to use different color highlights to mean different things. So I can go up here and say, for this one, I want to highlight this, but I want that to be a different color. Again, we're going to use our edit arrow. We use this to edit any type of drawings or highlights. Click right on it, and I can say, you know what, I want that one to be blue. Just like so, okay? Next on the list is our cloud finger. So you're not able to type into this. This is just to draw emphasis. So say that there's a specific measurement or something specific in the plan page that you want to really jump out. You can just draw this little cloud figure around. Again, it's just meant to draw your eye to the specific detail that you want to be sure that you don't miss. Again, we can change the color on the cloud function if we wanted to. Call out, this is for leaving notes either to yourself on the plan or someone else on your team if you're a multi-user. I can just draw this little box and I say, please confirm wall type. And just put that on there. So now we've got a little note there right on the plan. Next on the list is our dimension line. This is an awesome one. So in the beginning, this is what we used to kind of verify our scale. Click on dimension line. Now this provides a quick visual on the screen, so it's not going to factor into the numbers for your reporting, but it is a quick visual. So say I just want to know from this point to this point, I can do one click with the mouse here, drag that across. I can either double click there for placement, or my third click is for placement down here. So we can just bring that anywhere we want. So dimension lines are great visual on the screen. Another really cool feature we can do, last but certainly not least, you can text box if you just wanted to add text. Just draw a little rectangle, add text. Again, we can go up here to edit, click on that. We can increase the font there to make that a little bit bigger. We can also change the color. Pretty cool. Down here to legend. Now, the legend you can use, you can place this anywhere on the plan page that you want. We're going to go up here in legend and say that we want to place it over top of this big unit right there. Usually I would try to find a nice white space to put this, draw a nice big rectangle. And this is going to show us all the measurements with the color coding for this specific plan sheet. So it's going to say, okay, you know, this is the color used for this purple color for our duct. All of our duplex outlets were that medium blue cross, and it's going to put your primary measurement type right here on the plan page, which is really cool. Again, this is going to show you everything in its totality, as will the reports, but this is going to show you what is specific to this plan page. So, you know, we finished our takeoff, say that we want to print this to a PDF so that we can, you know, email this to a customer, or we want to save this or print this. We're going to go right over here to this last button. This one shows our phone number, so we'll review that in a second, but click this to PDF. We're going to export that one plan with PDF. The software is smart enough to know it's going to say, okay, we realize that there are more than one plan in this project, but only one of them has a takeoff on it. So we're going to assume that's the one you want to print. If so, you can just click the green button there and you're good to go. If you wanted to override it, you certainly could by just hitting the plus signs here and choose the ones that you want and then export those 5 plans. Okay. In most cases, you're just going to go with the one. We're going to click on export that one plan, and it's going to queue it up for us. So we see this little green banner. The project has been queued. It does take a minute or so, and then it's going to spin us up that little PDF, and we can see here is our markups and with our plan legend, and I could save that to my computer. At that point, you're really good to go. Let's touch on some reporting here. So again, we've shown how over here in the takeoff template, this is going to kind of build as you do your project, so you can see actually the status of your project while you're building this, and then you can apply a legend for that specific plan page. Over here in reports, again, it's going to show everything in its totality. So the very top report, this will be our takeoff quantity report. Again, this is going to show, it's just a nice clean report. It's going to show the primary measurement type. Again, basically what it showed us on the takeoff template, but we can send this to Excel. So if we want a nice clean format like this, we can send this over to Excel, you know, add our pricing and markup and everything in Excel. Next on the list, Takeoff Summary. Again, this is going to show us our primary and our secondary. So if there is a primary and secondary, we've got our square footages and our linear footages here. We can also clean this up. So we could send this over to Excel as is, you know, and maybe delete the columns we don't want here, or you can clean it up before you send it over. So we can go into your columns and say, you know what, we're really not concerned about cubic yardage for concrete, and we're not looking for, well, I guess we are looking for all the rest in this project. So we would just clean up that one, export to Excel, and that's going to queue it up in Excel to finish out your quote, okay? I do want to show you, while we're in the reporting section here, again, geometry report is going to show all of the individual markups. If you're looking for a measurement, so you're looking through your project and you're like, you know what, I've got 2 of these measurements for my 3 and 5 inch drywall, and say that, you know, that square footage just doesn't look, it looks odd to you, and you want to go back and reflect on that drawing, you can go directly across, click on this little call out right here. What that's going to do is the software is going to zoom you to that page and then highlight that drawing right there. So you know exactly, you know, oh, okay, yeah, that does look correct. That's how it should be. So the geometry report is a great way to also find drawings by clicking on the little call out. We also have a built-in default grouping, which is pretty cool, and it's available on any of these reports. So say I'm in my takeoff quantity report, And we have a built-in default where it's going to show you all your information by plan page. This is built into the software. There's nothing you need to do to set it up. We can just go up here to grouping and say we want to group by plan name. Now, we only worked on one plan today, which is a 2.51, so all of our drawings are going to be associated with that. But if we had worked on multiple plans, it's going to divide that up. So that is a default grouping. In the software, there isn't any setup that you need to do. You can use the software, which we'll cover in the advanced class, to be able to group by, if you want to group your data by first floor, second floor, third floor, building 1, building 2, building 3, room 101, room 102, 103. The software can certainly do that, and we will cover that in the advanced webinar. This one, again, is designed to get you the basics and get you up and running as quickly as possible. Also with grouping, so say that I am grouping by plan page and I send this over to Excel, it's always going to go over to Excel as you see it here. So if you group by plan page and send it over to Excel, that is the format it's going to go. If you ungroup, it's going to send it over as its totality. So export to Excel is always exports exactly how you see it on the screen. So kind of end with some different ways to get a hold of us. Again, we can hover over the little question mark and that'll give you the phone numbers to call in. So we can see in my case, Lauren is my assigned account rep, and that is the phone number for her direct line. If you call Lauren and you get a voicemail and you need a quick answer, go ahead and call the main support line here. That way there's other people available to answer your question as well. Also right here, it doesn't necessarily look like a button, but this is a button to our support site. So if I click this, it's going to take us to our help center, and here you will find just tons and tons and tons and tons of information here. A little short how-to videos. I try to keep these short, 1-2 minutes in lengths, to get you where you need to go quickly. This list is also searchable, so if I wanted to learn how to rotate plans, I can type rotate and I can see, okay, I've got a quick video on rotating plans, and I also have a screenshot here available for rotating plans. Hop back into the software. The little green circle down here, this is our inline chat, so you can click on that, start a new conversation, and that way you can chat with my staff or myself right here within the software while you're working. Also in the bottom left is a little video icon where these are the most common questions that I see come in on chat, like how to rotate plans or multi-select or edit or delete. You can click on this. It's going to open up a really quick 1 to 2 minute video right here within the application that you can watch and close that out, and then you're still within Stack to work while work and go. So. And that is your basic run through. Be happy to take all your questions on chat. But this really should give you up and running quickly in the software. Please don't feel that this is your only session. Feel free to hop on the chat button and say, Troy or whoever's available, we would like to schedule a further session or a one-on-one session. We would be more than happy to do that. Again, it is my goal to get you as comfortable as possible with the software, and I assure you that we can use it. Even if today is the first time you're using a computer, we will help you get you there. I promise you that. So you're welcome for additional one-on-one trainings. Or register for another group training down the line. Just know that we are available. You can call in, you can chat in, go to our support center for video help. We are available here to ensure your success. All right, I think you're going to be thrilled with the software. I look to a long-term relationship, and over the years to be able to actually meet and talk to each and every one of you. You're going to love the software, and again, thank you very much for attending the webinar today.